You ready to review Ollie Dog Food? I am. I know you love to review dog food. What's your favorite type of video? You want to talk Ollie? Let's go. Let's tell everybody about the positives and the negatives. You ready? What's number one? Number one, the food is human grade and there are no byproducts, no fillers. Now, human grade is actually a significant term. There are a lot of health terms that dog food companies put into things, ranch raised and fresh, that mean absolutely nothing. But human grade is important because a lot of dog food will use something called food from the 4Ds, dead, dying, and diseased animals, garbage that they would never sell to humans. They would be arrested for it. But they put it in dog food because it's imperfectly legal all around the world. But human grade means this must be good enough for humans to eat. Basic explanation of it. And that means your dog is not getting some garbage food that's being scraped off the slaughterhouse floor. So what about number two? Number two, first 5 ingredients. Interesting. So this is a positive and a negative because we start off with pork and then pork liver, butternut squash, 3 great ingredients. But then as we start to go down, we get into rice, sweet potatoes, oats, peas, and then carrots. That's all the first ingredients beyond the first 5. Again, rice is almost never necessary. Sweet potatoes, you can justify it in some cases. But remember, rice is being used as a bulking agent, basically empty carbohydrates that's making the food way more. And for senior dogs, it can be not only too many carbs, it can also be inflammatory. So be careful with this because I don't understand why they're including rice in an otherwise really good dog food formula. Same thing goes for the oats and the peas. They're gonna lose points in this rating because using rice, oats, and peas is it's just unnecessary and you're paying a lot of money for this food. It is not cheap. Why do you wanna pay for oats, peas, and rice? Put more meat in the product. Put more meat. You want to give pork and pork livers, make that the bulk of the food. So this ends up being a negative even though we started off really well. Now, they calculate how much food you'll need for your dog based on their body weight and their activity level. Now, this is a wet food, so it's a little more difficult to say how many grams to give. So check out this guide, see how much of this if you want to buy this, how much you actually have to give your dog. Because remember, you're going to have to give them more than if it were either a dry food or if it were pork and pork liver that you were cooking at home, because there are a lot of ingredients that are weighing this food down and there's a lot of liquid in it as well. Number 3, what about the nutritional breakdown? Per serving, it comes out to about 9% protein, 7% fat, 2% fiber, and 72% water. Now, there's about 10% carbs in this, but again, you have to calculate how much food to give because obviously with all that liquid in there, you're going to need more of it. Next up, and this is a positive, they cook the food at low temperatures. One of the worst things about commercial dog food, they have to cook it 4 times at temperatures that are absurd. So the sweet potatoes, which if you make a sweet potato for your dog, probably going to make it in a crock pot or in a frying pan at a temperature that's reasonable, or maybe in the oven. And the food they're eating resembles a lot of the food that grew in nature. But with dog food, that sweet potato is basically now some sort of funkified sugar that ends up in your dog bowl. With this, you're getting a low temperature cook, which is a huge advantage. Now, since it's being delivered to your house pre-made, how long does it last? The website says about 4 days in the refrigerator. It can also be frozen and you just defrost it 24 hours in the fridge. Do not leave it out because it can invite in bacteria. What about if you're not home and they deliver it? Well, they promise that it will stay fresh till midnight on the day that it is delivered. So it gives you some time to get home, get it in the fridge or get it in the freezer. So what do we say about this food? Is it a buy? Well, it really depends because as far as pre-made food goes, this is a little bit better than Farmer's Dog, but you have to really weigh the fact that there's a lot of carbs. There's a lot of dead weight materials. And again, take this into account with your budget because if you feed homemade, you're going to be able to do a lot cheaper with an infinitely better quality of food. But if you can't for whatever reason and you want something that's easy and delivered, this might be worth a shot if you're willing to risk those carbs and if you've done the calculations and you find that cost-wise, the amount of food you have to give them is, well, if it works within your budget. Now, frankly, we think if you can't cook homemade dog food, there are better alternatives. And where can they find them? If they click right here, well, you got to tell people. They don't know. You got to click right there. Right. Too busy with eating.